We got an Alabama A&M linebacker right here, baby, and it's definitely about mentality. Where'd he get the work ethic from?
From me, of course.
Mama not shy, mama not shy. Well, there you have it, guys. Lincoln University's been living their best lives, fired up, ready to go. Now, my granddad always told me, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Absolutely. It's very important. You know, they beat us 6 years in a row, and we got a sour taste in our mouth, but we got to come out here and play tonight.
So these guys are hungry. They want to come in here and snatch this game away from Bowie State the same way Bowie State snatched the game last week from Virginia State. I tell you what, Coach, it's the real simple proposition today. You guys win, you're headed to the CIAA championship. What has to happen to make that true, Coach?
Well, number one, offensively, we have to take care of the football. We have to sustain our drives.
You had a problem scoring early in the year. The last 2 games, they scored 119 points. You saw that little trickeration just a second ago. That's one example of what they've been doing. But don't forget about the big uglies up front. They have put a lot of work into being physical. Had a chance to spend some time with Coach Jackson before this game. He's excited to be back here. It's been a true journey for him. Started his coaching career here, went out for a couple of stints in a couple of places, had some family emergencies to come back up, and that brought him back home, giving him this opportunity. He tells me the key this week is to make sure that his players remain focused. Coming off a big win over Virginia State last week, I'll tell you what, 41-14. How do you come back from that? Very special guest indeed. The reason why you and Foss and I are here today, Mr. Pierre Cremonti, who is the president of our network. Mr. Cremonti, what is the vision here? What made you want to attempt it?
You know, Craig, it's simple for me. After talking to friends that went to HBCUs and going to games, I wanted America to be exposed to how exciting the black college football experience is. The bands, the fans, you know, the cheerleaders, the stepping and the fraternities and sororities. I wanted to bring that to local television so that people have a chance to watch it.
It's going to be a tall task, and football fans, you are in for a treat today. The number 1 passing offense in the conference versus the number 1 rushing offense. You mentioned it, Jada Byers, last week, 205 yards rushing. And get this stat, guys. In the last 2 weeks, Virginia Union Panthers have beat their opponents by 118-0. That's 69 points in one game, 49 points in another. You just never know who you're going to run into on the sideline. I had the favor today of running into Josh Williams. Josh, welcome back home, man. You went in the 4th round to the Kansas City Chiefs. What's it like being back?
It's a blessing, man. You know, coming back, seeing all the faces, all the people I grew up with, you know, and kind of just, you know, I'm feeling home, man. I'm happy to be here.
You see your boys on the field, man, but I got to ask you, you know, playing in the NFL is every little football player's dream. What's it like living your dream, perfecting your skill set as a DB against Patrick Mahomes every day?
Absolutely. It's exactly, you know, what you'd imagine growing up, you know. You dream your whole life of going to the NFL. You finally get there, and, you know, you're seeing what it really is. And it's all it's cracked up to be. It really is. Only thing you're missing is, you know, the hard work, all the hours of preparation behind it. And, you know, all the great players you go against all the time. Those guys are there for a reason. You know, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. Going up against him every day at practice, man, you really see NFL talent. And all these guys are just as blessed as you are, and they can make the same plays you can. So it's all about preparation and making sure you know what you're doing out there.
How pivotal was it being here at Fayetteville State that really got you to where you are now? How important?
Right. I think me coming here made a big, you know, impact on how I got to the league and the man I am now, you know. Kind of, you know, going to a smaller school, things weren't necessarily handed to you. So, you know, if you wanted to be great, you had to work for it. Nobody was going to force you to get extra work in or force you to get the best nutrition. So, you know, coming here, you really have to work. And, you know, I had great coaches here. I had a great support system here. And everybody that was around me, they wanted to get better. They wanted you to get better. So, you know, if it wasn't for that or my environment, it's no telling where I could have been.
Any predictions on today's game?
Oh, yeah, Broncos by a lot.
Broncos by a lot, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Josh, for the time, man. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Craig, and a big thanks there to Josh Williams.
Nobody's like Mom. Jada Byers' mom here joining me, Mr. Kia Watson. I tell you what, when I came here today, first person I saw on the field working out by himself was your son. When you hear me say something like that, does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't.
Tell me about your son. What is it taking for him to get to this point?
It took a lot because people doubted him because of his height. He always like second guessing himself, but I always told my son, like, no matter what, God got the last, so your heart is bigger than anything. And God gonna lead you the rest of the way.
What kind of example is he to his community and his other family members?
He's a good example. He sets a good example. The kids back home love him. They love him. When he come home, he work with the kids on his off season. He does a lot with the community.
Where did he get the work ethic from?
From me, of course.
Mama not shy. Mama not shy.
Himself. He got work ethic from himself. He learned from himself since he was 1 year old. His dad put a football in his hand, and ever since then, he loved the football.
What do you want the world to know about your son? I mean, I'm hearing whispers. You hear that?
It's like a jungle.
That's people talking about the Harlan Hill Award. That's the top player in Division II, and he's right up there with a lot of those people in that conversation right now. When you hear that, what's your hope for him?
I pray to get it. That's all. I hope and pray. God got the last say. That's all. I cry hearing my son name out here because in high school, I mean, you heard a little bit about him, but you didn't hear a lot. College didn't look at him, and I'm thankful that Virginia Union gave me the chance to do what he got to do and show everybody what he's capable of doing.
And so I'm sure they are too. So, Takia, thank you so much for joining us again this morning. Enjoy the game. I tell you what, guys, those whispers are real. Jada Byers, 1,300 yards rushing. We already talked about what the record was, and so he's very close to breaking that. And when you talk about players in that conversation, 3 players in the nation are in that conversation when we talk about over 1,000 yards for this point in the season. And right now, Jada Byers is 191 yards ahead of the third guy.
I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Standing on the front stoop, hanging out the window, watching all the cars go by, roaring as the breezes blow. A crazy lady living in a bag, eating out of garbage pails. Used to be a fag hag, such a dance to tango. Skipped the life and dango. A zircon princess seemed to lost her senses. Down at the peep show, watching all the creeps.